Good morning, everybody. Welcome. In this episode, I feel very passionately drawn to dive into what it looks like to be a liberated projector. So, for those of you who are new here and you don't know, my name is Leanne MacDonald. I am a 2-4 projector, and I've been diving into this human design experiment for many years now. Applying the experiment to myself, guiding my clients on this continuous journey of just uncovering all of the incredible magic that lies within our unique human design. And the thing with capital letters, THING, that was the thing that allowed me to have the biggest shift, was understanding my projector energy. Okay. And I'm not going to lie, when I first found out I was a projector, I was a little bit disappointed. You know, a lot of the basic stuff that's available to us on the internet with regards to human design, for me, kind of painted this picture that we were like these spiky, almost emotionless guides that kind of got on everyone's nerves, and we just had to sit and wait for people to invite us in because we didn't want to upset people. And so when I first started looking at what it was to be a projector, I really didn't see the power in it. And I went through a bit of a grief period of like mourning my old existence of living life as a manifesting generator. And I was raised by two Mani-Gen parents. So, that energy really lived rent free in my physical body. And looking back now and how I live now and how I be, and like knowing everything I do know now about being a projector, I honestly don't know how I lasted so long. I don't know how I was able to maintain that kind of energy. I was always feeling unwell, literally always feeling unwell, always having some kind of impact to my well-being, always feeling tired, always feeling like I'd ran a marathon at nighttime and never felt fully rested. So these were all relatively new experiences for me that I only really got to enjoy as an adult. Okay. So I want to talk about different areas where I felt liberated as being a projector, in the hope that you listening as a fellow projector can feel inspired and empowered around your unique energy and empowered around the mission and the person you are here to be in this lifetime. So, if you're new to human design, being a projector is one of the aura types. You can kind of look at the aura types. There are 5. You've got manifestors, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. And each of these aura types, you can look at it through the lens of, these are different kinds of people with different kinds of skills and different kinds of way to exchange their energy. Okay. And when you're in the awareness of this, and when you're in the mastery of this, then you can really rise in the power of what it means to be these individual aura types. So being a projector is a very unique experience. We are the newest energy type. How I describe this to my clients is probably not, traditional human design language, but I use a lot of metaphors which really help me understand and integrate things. Like, projectors for me are like the divine troops. Okay, so stay with me here. The world revolved around manifestors, informing the generators, and generators building the work, and reflectors kind of reflecting back the health and well-being of what was being created. But there was no efficiency in it. There was misuse of energy. There was incorrect use of energy. So there wasn't incredible alignment as a collective. So for me, the universe, God, whoever, like whatever resonates for you, dropped in these divine troops to come in and recalibrate this misaligned energy. And the divine troops are the projectors. So the projectors are here to play this role of really powerful observers, and we have innate skills that allow us to see things that other people can't see, and we can see potential in everything. We can see potential in people. We can see potential in, life systems, everything. Like, we've got this real powerful ability to just see the potential, but also at the same time to simultaneously see where the potential wasn't being reached. So the role that we play is like this recalibration role, where we are kind of looking at what already exists and how it can be improved. So in traditional human design teachings, projectors are masters of systems. Okay, so my mastery is the human experience. Like, I am super fascinated, have been for decades. You know, I remember I bought my very first Louise Hay book when I was 13. I used to be obsessed with the Chicken Soup for the Soul books when I was a teenager, went down the rabbit hole of personal development at a very young age, and really kind of asking these questions of, you know, diving deeper into like, what is the purpose of life? Like, how, you know, how do we engage with one another as humans? Like, I'm very fascinated with how we are creating our experience, how we resonate with one another, how we relate to one another. So every single projector will find themselves fascinated with an area of life. So for me, it's the human experience. So that's my system. That's my system that I've mastered. That's my system that I guide people within my business and within the work that I do with people. But projectors will tend to have their like interests piqued. You know, I've got a projector friend who's a nutritionist, and she just knows everything about food, hormones, and nutrition, what your body needs. Like, she's just dived into that. Okay. So you will find yourself as a projector having an interest, and it might not look like it is something you can create a career from. It might not look immediately like it is something that makes logical sense, but your interest is your mission, is your purpose. Okay, it's for you to dive into, it's for you to become educated around, it's for you to be in this sense of mastery around, because every projector has what I like to call a zone of genius. So we have this zone of genius that allows us to guide others within the capacity of exchanging our guidance for the material elements, for the energy of money, for the energy of relationships. So we came here not to be the creators, not to be the builders, not to be the doers, but to be this incredible feminine energy that just receives this awareness. They receive this urge to be interested and fascinated about something. They receive these observations. They receive the information of how it can be better improved, and then they share it with others. Okay. That was the most liberating thing for me, being in the energy of a manifesting generator, trying to do, left me burnt out more times than I dare to admit to, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, there was a warning sign for me that I used to, you know, tap into. And thank goodness, touch wood, I've not experienced this warning sign for a very long time, because I really practice the integration of my projector energy. But I used to get cluster migraines, and it was, to me, looking back, that was like my body saying to me, stop. Now, when you are in the not self aspect of your human design, and I will be sharing more, you know, education around the not self, because I think it's really important in other podcasts that I create, other videos that I create. But there is an element of our human design that when we are taking action, when we are making decisions, when we are, you know, saying yes to things based upon fear-based decisions, emotionally charged decisions, and logical mind decisions, we end up experiencing the polarity of our energy. And if you look at our energy, I like to look at human design as not right or wrong. I like to look at our human design as potential. Okay, so we have the potential to be in to experience rather the lowest frequency of our energy, and we've got the potential to experience the highest frequency. So when we are really not tapped into this powerful source of self-awareness that human design affords us, we tend to, you know, live out our experience of life in the shadow frequencies, in those lower frequencies. And that is where we begin to disconnect from our intuition. It is where we you know, disconnect from being in that receiver energy, which is very, 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 very bad for a projector to do, because we are feminine beings. Our energy is feminine. So being in that receptive mode, we are more motivated by our internal fears. We are more motivated by our emotional experience, and we are more motivated by the logical memories that are stored in our mind based upon what we've experienced in life so far. So my existence was built upon the fear of not being able to keep up with everyone else, because that is one of the shadows of being a projector. Like, we don't have this access to a consistent access to sacral life force energy. All projectors have an open sacral center. So, you know, trying to keep up with someone who does have that as a consistent energetic experience is like, you know, the turtle in the hare in a race, you know, but you kind of not winning, you know, because that hare's just going to keep going, keep going, keep going, and you're going to have to constantly be chasing it. So the liberation for me came in understanding and having this massive, like, the time that I was able to really dedicate the integration of being a projector came at a very pivotal moment in my life, with a very tragic loss of my father. And I just dedicated that, you know, period of just feeling completely disjointed from the experience that we'd all gone through as a family because of his loss. I honored and dedicated myself to aligning to my projector energy. And it was like, stop pushing, stop thinking, stop moving, stop doing, just be in this moment. And I think that every single day I used to ask myself, like, how do I feel? Where's my energy at? Where are my emotions at? And what I found was, like, the most liberating experience. I spent 3 months in a state of just being, not doing, just being, like, being in this, like, receiving the lessons from the grief, receiving the emotions that were, you know, flowing through my body, receiving the experience of it all, receiving, not doing. And that shifted everything for me. So it was a horrendous moment in time in my life, but it was also the most incredible time, because it's almost like something catastrophic had to happen to, like, stop me and to get me to have this radical realignment with my projector energy. But realizing what happened after that was the liberation. So in my business, before my father passed, before I really started to integrate human design, you know, I've been in this experiment a long time, many years, but I think really taking it seriously over the last real 3 years, like maybe 3.5 years. 3 months of just being resulted in the most powerful business catalyst. Let's just call it that. So my mind was telling me, Leanne, you've been, like, launching prior to this integration. I'd been, like, you know, misinterpreting invitations, you know, almost like convincing myself, yes, I've been invited, like, let's go, like, being on the go all the time, trying to keep up with all the generators in the online space, all the manifesting generators. And with those 3 months of just, like, being me and really kind of going inwards and spending time in contemplation, I remember having a thought of, right, I feel like I want to go back to work now, but do I have the energy to kind of get things going again? And I remember thinking, you know, what is it going to take for me to re-engage my audience? What is it going to take for me to, and I just kept, you know, just be, like, get in your projector energy. It's not going to take anything. It's not about what you're doing. It's about who you are. It's about your energy. It's about people recognizing that. And it literally took me a week of, you know, dropping back in my community, re-engaging my community, and my business was just gone, like, full steam ahead. And that was the massive liberation for me. It was like, and I honestly think when I found out I was a projector, I honestly think I had these thoughts of, well, how am I going to build a business as a projector? Like, how does one have success when, you know, you have to wait for the invitation? Like, where's the invitation going to come from? But that whole period for me just proved everything about the projector, because the invitations came. The minute that I, came back onto in my group into the online space, people were messaging me, inviting me to guide them, inviting me to coach them before I even like created anything. So that was an element of how, I felt liberated as a projector business owner. But it also made massive sense of situations and circumstances from my past, particularly with relationships and friendships with women. Because when I look back now, I had a lot of friendships with generators and manifesting generators. And I always felt like they were suspicious of me. That's the only way I can describe it, like suspicious of me, didn't really fully feel relaxed around me. And I perceive myself as like the most easy going, easy breezy. I'm very, very grounded, very down to earth. But, I see potential in everyone. I'm not a great judgmental person. And it used to bother me. I used to be like why? I used to sense their dis-ease around me, their discomfort around me. Now I know. The experience of a projector is so powerful that we see people at a level that they do not desire to be seen at, and they feel that you can see them at that level when you are in their energy. So that, just allowed me to liberate myself from all of this nonsense in my head. Like, what's wrong with me? Why do people don't trust me? Why do people not feel relaxed around me? Why can I never create and cultivate these deep friendships? Like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? With bells on. That, like, understanding the dynamics of the projector energy when it's in the space of other aura types was massive for me. And then also feeling liberated from that awful emotion of bitterness, which literally ruled my life, right? So projectors, we have a signature emotion which tells us when we're in alignment and tells us when we're out of alignment, and that's all it's for. Okay. It's not to tell us if we're right or wrong. It's not to tell us, it's literally a soul. For me, I like to describe it as it's the soul's way of telling you, no, you've missed guidance here. Get back on track. So the emotion that shows you are in alignment is the emotion of success, and the emotion that tells you you're out of alignment is the emotion of bitterness, which can also show up as jealousy, feeling misunderstood, feeling left out, feeling overlooked, feeling invisible. So and having this awareness and like playing with this awareness and really allowing this awareness, and if you're a projector listening, like let this be the thing that shifts everything. If you feel bitter, misunderstood, overlooked, invisible around anybody, it's not a representation of anything about you. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay, there's nothing wrong with you. That's your soul telling you that the space, the environment, the people that you are currently around are not recognizing you and are therefore not aligned for you in this moment. It doesn't mean they're never going to be aligned. It just means there's a misalignment in that moment. Okay. But again, this is not right or wrong. So it's like these people are not wrong and you're right, and these people are not toxic and you need to run away from them. It's just, it's an incredible, connection to our soul that allows us to not make meaning of this. It's like in the past, I would try and prove to people, I would try to get people to recognize me. I would try to get people to see me. I would get into conversations that really were not really in integrity, to be perfectly honest, just to be seen, just to have a voice, just to say something like radical, to stand out and get people's attention. When I look back at some of my Facebook posts from like 10 years ago, I definitely have a bit of a cringe moment there. But now, whenever I feel like I'm not being recognized, especially when it comes to relationships with friends and relationships, like creating new relationships, I just honor the situation. I just honor the situation. I don't get angry. I don't, start to think, well, screw you, which is what I used to think. Pre-human design days, I used to really take it very personally. And as a 2-4 projector, so my profile energy has a 4 line in, and 4 lines really struggle with the fear of being rejected. So like add in that little essence of like, why do people not see me? Let me just be the clown and do a quick tap dance routine and try and get everyone to see me and look at me and recognize me, which is also part of my open throat playing out there as well. But now it's just this incredible feeling of grace that comes over my body. It's like, okay, thank you, soul, for letting me know that I'm not being recognized in the moment. And it's not me, because my energy and my definition is consistent. It's just that whatever's going on, whether it's in my awareness, whether it's in the other person's awareness, it really doesn't matter. And I really don't need to figure it out. I just need to be aware that these people are not recognizing me right now. And I've got a choice. So I can tune in and be like, is it worth me, trying to get recognized in this moment? Or can I just honor where we are all at? Okay, so every time I choose to honor where we're all at, I feel that beautiful sensation of grace. And I don't create any attachment to what it means to be me. So they are the main areas. I mean, I could go on. I could talk and talk and talk and talk about being a liberated projector, but I think they're the 3 most powerful areas of, understanding how unique and how different our energy is, and how absolutely powerful it is, and how needed it is. Like, when I'm able to be recognized and people invite me in to guide, and then they experience the success of that, I experience the emotion of that success, and it feels so good and it feels so powerful, and I feel so seen. Even being a projector mom, like I've got 4 children. Well, I've got 5, but 4 that live at home with me full time. Even being a parent and seeing that one of my children is a projector, and I've got a manifestor, and I've got 2 generators and a manifesting generator. So understanding how they receive me energetically and how I receive them energetically has been super liberating as a parent also. So if you're a projector, start to consider your signature emotion of bitterness and start to reframe how you behave with that emotion moving forward. Like, rather than being reactive and going into old patterns and cycles of, feeling the bitterness and maybe posting a passive aggressive post on social media, or saying something out of term, or sitting in your room crying because you feel so invisible and misunderstood, or you've been like rejected, rather than following on those behaviors, think about how you can use that to your advantage moving forward. How can you use your emotional scale? Like, when you feel successful, and honestly, success for me is a relaxed body. That's for me, like, I summarize success as a projector when I feel entirely relaxed in my physical body around any situation, circumstance, or person. Like, that's success for me. And then, like, bitterness is just my soul telling me there's a little bit of like, there's not the correct recognition in this moment, so just take a step back. So how can you reframe this in your life and start to allow yourself to just use these emotional experiences as a guide for alignment, rather than respond to these emotional experiences? That is going to be transformative for you. And then also remember that you are here to recalibrate existing energy. So as a projector, like, what is your fascination? And instead of trying to make sense of it, or try and a lot of projectors I know have completely disregarded the thing that lights them up and they're fascinated about, because it hasn't been logical that they've been able to like bring it into their career or make money from it. So go back to the thing that lights you up. What is it? Because that is the thing you are here to be the guide around, So think about, what is your passion? Like, for me, it's the human experience. Even before I really started to build my business around this, obsessed with the human experience, obsessed with mindset, obsessed with how the mind works. Like, I'm the girl who had children and studied a child psychology diploma so I could understand them better. Like that, that's the level of obsession where I'm at when it comes to the human experience. And then honor your energy, like honor this receptive energy, honor this energy of just being rather than doing. So whatever you're doing in life right now, like I used to beat myself up because I couldn't stay on top of the house and keep it tidy all of the time. And, I just felt inadequate in those areas. So think about, like, where are you giving yourself a hard time because you simply don't have the energy to do the same tasks that everyone else does? And how can you just be okay with that? Like, let's just honor your energy. Let's just see how you can get some help around this rather than trying to take it on all of yourself, burning yourself out, making yourself ill. And then a really, really final thought for you as a projector is daily communication with your physical body. Like, it's constantly communicating to you way more powerful information than your mind can conceive. Like, it is constantly communicating, it is constantly guiding you, it is constantly communicating you, as it is constantly giving you nudges, it's constantly directing your life towards alignment. So if you are in the rat race trying to keep up with the generators of the world, then you are going to have a disconnection taking place there. So how can you rebuild that connection to tuning into the cues of your physical body, spending time in meditation, clearing your mind and just being in that receptive energy? So a daily practice that I do is I sit in my front garden, I take my shoes off, I put my feet on the ground, and I just receive the energy from the earth. Like, that is my practice of receiving. And the final thing, I know I've said final maybe 5 times, but this is the final tip. Practice observing and notice what comes into your awareness. So if you're, just because you're a projector doesn't mean you are a mastered projector yet. But if you're living unconsciously and you're living in the not self, then you're probably not aware of what you are actually able to observe in others. So having like a daily practice of intentional observation. You don't need to feed that back to anyone. Just maybe take yourself to a coffee shop, look around, notice the information that you're receiving from others. And that's going to start to boost your confidence and start to help you understand the dynamics of your projector energy.